using your creativity and releasing that creativity, not for someone else and not for a like or a buck, but for the simple pleasure of releasing that creativity.
I could not agree more with you.
Yeah.
There is nothing that
It's
comes
been
close to it. How do you feel? So it's been a couple of weeks since you started doing the weightlifting.
Yeah, it's been a couple of weeks. It's been like 48 years since we've recorded.
Yeah, let's get the elephant out of the room.
Yeah, or even or even talked. I mean, we talk every day on on the phone, but yeah, it's been a long time since we've recorded. So, anyways, yeah, we'll get the elephant out of the room, and then we'll discuss all of our happenings. So, what, a month ago now? Has it been a month?
No, it was
It
less than a
feels
month.
like a month.
It feels like a long time, but I
Yeah,
think it was because we were recording like 2 days a week.
yeah.
And so then to go back to like completely wipe that out, it was weird.
Yeah, it's super weird.
Yeah.
It felt like things were not right. Like I'm doing something wrong. You know,
Yeah.
like I'm actually like I'm sinning or something. Like, it just felt
It
weird.
felt
You
like I
know,
was cheating the system or
right,
something. I was
right.
like,
Like I
what is
was.
happening?
But yeah, so yeah, Chelsea and I took, I don't know how long, 3 weeks maybe two. It seems like forever. Chelsea decided to become a superstar at cybersecurity and coding and all that, and that kind of started from when you wanted to rebuild your website.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It
Which
was
is
100 hours of work. I'm having so much fun with that, especially because, I mean, 100 hours into my website and I'm learning HTML and CSS as I was building that website and going,
right.
"Oh, wow, this is kind of front end. Like
Yeah, yeah.
maybe I should look into that, you know?"
Yeah. Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I'm starting to see a different side here and I'm like, "Oh."
That's great. I love it, dude. Congratulations. Congratulations on finding a new, I don't know if we call it a passion or just an interest or whatever, but congratulations on finding a new piece of you. That's awesome.
Dude, it's so much cool. I will say and
It
I
is so much cool.
it is
It is so much cool.
and that's on a t-shirt, everybody.
Darn right.
Thank you.
Yes.
By the way, I edit on the side.
Yeah. Heck yes.
What I was gonna say though, God, you totally just freaking wrecked my train
Sorry.
of
I'm sorry. I
thought.
had to. It was such a fun line. I had to call it out.
Oh, I remember. I was
Okay.
gonna say the what is so cool is that 10 years ago, I cringed at the idea of getting into the tech industry because there
Yes.
was this mental thing where it was like, if I wasn't interested at 10 years old, then I am not interested now, and I
Right.
probably shouldn't even address it.
Yeah.
Right. And so I pursued HR, operation, all of that. And then I hated it. Don't ever ask me to go back to HR. I
Yeah.
would
Yeah.
cut my fingers off before I type an email with
Yeah.
HR intentions. But yeah, it's just kind of like an awakening,
Yeah.
a
That's
second
awesome.
beginning.
Love it.
So
I
yeah.
love it. And I think that's the theme of us coming back together is second beginnings, new beginnings, regrowth, priorities, self, finding ourselves, that kind of thing. So yeah, so Chelsea's been on this this journey, and she has admittedly uh cut herself off from,
The world.
from the world, from the writing community in the most part, from me. I'm gonna put sad violin noises right there. I'm gonna put sad piano or sad violin noises right
Oh
there.
my God, Micah.
Uh she has almost completely disappeared, for good, because that has to happen, because you're having growth, right, and you're finding yourself, and that's a good thing. And I'm sure not only in the aspect of, this cybersecurity thing, this, this new passion, but also just in self,
Hmm.
which is what we were talking about earlier. But maybe in your writing, maybe just in your personal journey, maybe in your health, whatever it is. But you've been pursuing that,
Yeah.
uh at the sake of, being on social media.
I've told people I've taken a massive step back.
Yeah.
I'm like, I get
Yeah.
on in the morning. I catch up with whatever happened in the last afternoon from the day before, evening, and
Yeah.
then I post, and then I run,
Yeah.
and then I'll disappear for 6 hours,
Yeah. And you don't
7
look back.
hours, and then, sometimes I don't even look back until the next day,
Yeah.
because I
Right.
just mentally it's like compartmentalizing, you know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
You understand. It's like
Oh,
you
yeah.
have to start prioritizing putting energy, especially when you're putting an exorbitant amount of energy towards something, and
Right.
you're like, "I need all the brain power I can get."
Right.
And
Oh, yeah.
you and I have both talked about how social media has its beautiful benefits, but
Sure.
man, it is a freaking rabbit hole, dude. It's
It
easy
is,
to
dude.
pick up and check, eat, go, go,
Yep.
go. And
Yep.
then you're constantly feeling obligated to get back to people that message
Yeah.
you or something like that. And you're like, I physically cannot start stretching myself so thin where'd my
Yeah.
brain energy go? I can't do anything.
Right. No, and I totally applaud you. It's kind of it's been a bummer. We've both talked about, man, are we even gonna continue doing this? Or are you gonna get back on the podcast? And I don't know. I don't really know the direction we're gonna go. I think, maybe we'll just get together and jam.
We can jam.
A couple times a week, and then if it's worth putting up, or maybe we'll just put it up, and if people dig it, cool. If not, hey, we'll still do it. What's up?
And that's what it's all about. I think
Yeah.
and I know you and I have talked about this in the past, like the amount of sacrifice we do for other people. I
Yeah.
mean, great for a month, great for maybe
Sure.
2 or 3 months, 6 to 8 months to a year to
Yeah.
multiple years. It starts to catch up with you,
Yeah.
and like I know you've started prioritizing, like you've been able to focus on your health and like doing
Yeah.
the weightlifting again, which is freaking awesome. Like that's a
Right.
piece of you.
Yeah.
Writing? Come on,
Yeah.
Micah. How many
Right.
times have I bugged you about writing?
I know. I know. No, so it's kind of cool that this happened in tandem. So as Chelsea was kind of stepping back and looking at this new passion and taking care of herself and kind of getting away from social media for a little bit, I at the same time, I don't know if people even remember, you can see it starting to grow a few episodes back, but I started growing a horn on my head right
Yeah.
here. Which is gone, by the way, which is wonderful. It is going
Looks
to scar.
fantastic.
It's going to scar, which
Oh
sucks.
no.
Oh yeah, it
Yeah.
was so deep when the scab finally fell off, dude. It was like, I mean, it was so deep, it was crazy.
Oh dude.
Oh yeah, but no big deal. Scars are cool. Make you look tough. So
Yeah. It's
yeah,
cool.
I'm down with it. I'll just tell people like I got in a sword fight with a badger or something.
You should.
Yeah, yeah. But so as Chelsea was taking this time off, I was dealing with incredible amounts of stress. So much so that I actually ended up, and I hadn't told you this, but I ended up in the ER with heart palpitations
Oh shit, Micah.
caused by anxiety and a panic attack, which sucked. And that all just stems from me putting too much time and too much too much energy into Anatolian Press. You can only put so much in, right?
Yeah.
You can, yeah. So, but the fact of the matter is that books aren't selling huge right now, and I'm dumping a lot of money into Anatolian Press from my own family's account, and watching me have to pull out a credit card, start a new credit card, and start putting more debt into my family's name
Yeah.
on Anatolian Press because of Anatolian Press stuff. So anyways, a lot of that, and just stress of it just got to me. It just got to me, and it was
It's a threshold.
really really brutal. So anyways, this was actually we found out was a stress rash that ended up getting infected. So
God.
so not only did I like end up in the ER, had all this panic and anxiety, heart palpitations, stress rash got infected, and then infected the entire like left side of my body. So I was getting dizzy, and I got an ear infection, and like, dude, it was absolutely insane.
And then he was
Uh,
like, "Let's record."
Yeah, and then I was like, let's freaking do it. So we did a couple episodes as I was going through it, and I don't know if you can tell, I was having like panic attacks during our conversations.
Oh my
You know, I,
god, Micah, yeah.
yeah, but
I
I'm
was
used.
worried about you because I was like
Yeah,
you were like, "Let's do this." And I was like, "Micah, like, prioritize your health." Like,
right, right.
and you'd
It's
get on
like
and you'd be
I've
like, "Okay."
ever since I got bit by the tick and experienced my first panic attack, I made it a mission to understand anxiety and understand panic and learn how
Yeah.
to float through it. We've talked about that before, so I can handle them. they suck. I'm not going to say they don't suck. They're the worst things. So I honestly wouldn't wish them on anyone, even an enemy. They're terrible. But yeah, even during our last couple episodes, I was having panic attacks while we were recording, and you can tell if you actually go and look at it. But so as Chelsea is taking a step back and taking care of herself, I had to take a step back
Yeah.
and take care of myself. So I did a lot of things, man. I looked at what I was doing with the Anatolian Press. I looked at what was working, what was not working, and I made adjustments, and I made adjustments in my own personal health. I started eating real clean. I got my gym all back together downstairs and started lifting. So I've been in the gym 6 days a week for the last 4
Wow.
weeks. Yeah,
Well, I was gonna
and
say you look a little different.
I'm working on it. What's up? Lost about 26 pounds. Put on about
You
3
Are you
pounds of muscle.
serious?
Yeah,
Good for you,
yeah.
man.
I mean, like I said, I used to do this. I
I
used
know.
to. Yeah,
We were talking about that this morning because you were like,
yeah.
you sent me this like crazy buffed, oiled out dude, and I was like, what is that?
No, I used to. I was going to get on stage professionally, to do a bodybuilding show. So I used to lift hard back in the day, and I was, I know how to eat right. I know how to take care of my macros and my micros, and all this kind of stuff, and doing all the scheduling, and which splits to do on which days, and when to, all that kind of stuff. So it just kind of came back naturally to me. If I'm going to start getting healthy, if I'm going to start exercising again, well, I'm going to do what I know, and I'm going to start training.
That's
You know,
amazing.
yeah, yeah.
I'm
So
so
I've
happy
been,
for you. When you sent me, because you sent me the photo of the gym setup, and I was like,
yeah,
first
yeah.
off, did you color code this on purpose? Because it
Which
looked
I
great.
didn't, but it turned out real good.
It looks so good, dude.
Yeah, yeah,
But when I first saw it, I just was like, so like, there's like a soulful happiness. You know what I
yeah,
mean? And
yeah,
it's like when people just deserve, you're like, you look at somebody, you're like, you deserve to like really take care of yourself, be happy,
yeah,
like all of that. And like,
yeah.
Micah, that's how I feel about you. So like when you
Oh,
sent me the photo of the gym, because I know you've talked about that in the past,
oh
it
yeah,
was just like, it was just a moment. I was like, I
yeah.
am seriously so happy for this person. Like,
Oh,
because
well,
you
thank
deserve
you.
that. Like
Yeah.
it
Well,
makes you feel good.
what makes me feel good, my family deserves it. My family doesn't deserve to have a not healthy, anxious, stressed out dad and husband. That's not. End of the day, we've kind of alluded to this before, but end of the day, the writing and Anatolian Press or this podcast or whatever we do in our creative space, and even if we're trying to build that into a brand and build that into, some kind of financial advantage or a full time job, whatever, it's still not life. It's still not what's important. What's important
No.
is what's in front of you. What's important are the people who love you, and
Hmm.
those relationships. That's what's important.
It's
So
incredibly important. It's
yeah,
everything at the end of the day is replaceable.
right,
But
correct.
your family,
Except your family,
yourself, yeah,
right,
like those are priority pieces.
right,
Those you can't replace.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So we both just stepped back. I think we're much in a much healthier place, both of us, physically and mentally. Um, I like you said, I have been writing, which I have not done for ages and ages and ages.
I know. You wrote what was that? 12,000 words
Twelve
one
thousand
day?
words. So I wrote 11,000 like one day a couple weeks ago, and then I wrote 12,000 the other day. So yeah, so I think I'm up to like 36,000
Amazing. How does
on
it
my.
feel? Can we get that out? How does it feel?
Oh, it feels great. It feels real good. I'm reading every night again, which I hadn't been doing forever. One excellent thing on this journey to rediscovering my health and rediscovering passions is I got this great little device called the Brick. And I
Oh,
think I told you about it, right?
yep.
So what this thing does is it is a 3D printed, basically like a RF, magnet or whatever. But what you do is you tap your phone on it and it will automatically brick your phone. So the only things that your phone will do are, like calls, texts, and then you can choose to, like, if you want Google Maps on there or whatever.
Yeah.
So you tap that and your phone is a brick. It has been the craziest thing. I tell you, when the first couple of days I did it, so I do it every night. As soon as I get home, boop, tap, and then there's nothing.
You can't access
I'm
anything.
Yeah,
Yeah.
can't access anything. So the first couple of nights, after dinner, I go cuddle with Decky. I get in bed, and normally I would just sit there and veg on my phone or watch TV. So I had my book there, and I'm starting to read. I'm like, I'm going to read instead. I'm going to be good. Pick up my book, and then like 5 minutes later, because we're programmed to constantly
Mhm.
be on our phone and constantly check our phone, just out of habit, subconsciously, as my book is in my hand, I reach for my phone and I open it and I go to Instagram. And it's like, this application is blocked, and I was
That's
like,
amazing.
oh, okay. And then, like in my head, I was like, well, apparently I don't actually need to do that. And so it's been retraining me.
Yeah,
I don't need to be on social media. I don't need to be on, Googling something, or, it's not necessary. It's not real life,
it's
you
not.
know?
It
And
there's
and
yeah.
yeah, yeah, enjoying real life, and, being in the moment, in reality is much healthier. And I think
It's
that's kind of where
so
I'm
yeah,
at.
and that's amazing, like, it's so much more fulfilling too, like, you start to look at the world a little bit differently when you
Yes,
start
big time
taking
differently.
because even and I don't have the brick, but, like, I will I am a professional cold-shouldered biatch, and I
Yeah,
just apply that to my phone.
yeah, sure.
So and that's a side that I keep locked up, chained in the back,
Yeah,
but I was just like, I look at my phone, I literally do whatever I need to do, and then I just abandon it. I'm like,
yeah,
I will not look at you, see you, whatever. And
that's
like
good.
I deactivate notifications, all of that.
Yeah,
So it's like I'm not getting, you know,
yeah,
this app wants to notify you. This app wants to
right,
notify you.
exactly.
I'm like,
Yeah,
that no. Get out of
yeah,
my face.
yeah.
Deactivate.
Which, I've
So, yeah.
noticed, because normally, when you're not doing that, and you're just, you have your phone around, whatever. Like if I collab you, or if I mention you or something on
Years go
one of the
by.
social medias, like bam, you're like right there and you respond. And I remember one time last week, I collabed you on something, and it was like 12 hours later. I was like, good,
Oh,
but
jeez, I literally can't even
I
remember.
wasn't even mad. I was like, good for you. I was like,
You
because
go,
I
girl.
know, yeah, I was like, I know you're taking care of yourself. And
Yeah,
that's,
dude.
that's what's important.
Because it feels
So,
so good. Like, I have no idea how to explain it. Like, and I know you get it, but like,
yeah,
put time away from the phone. Set up not just an hour,
yeah.
hours.
Oh,
Your
hours. Yeah.
brain literally starts to think differently,
It
process
starts to think,
differently.
yeah,
It's
100%.
like, yeah, it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's incredible.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, and
No,
it's
it's
easy.
wonderful.
Yeah,
I give myself maybe 15 minutes on social media a day,
I love that.
and that's all I'm doing.
Good for
Because,
you.
yeah, because it it's just no good.
It's no good.
It's all there as this, this entertainment stimulus. And really, what are you doing when you're giving yourself over to that? You're making yourself dumber.
You
You
are.
really are.
Your
Yeah,
neurons
I
start to
made
wire
myself
differently, like,
think
yeah.
of how dumb we've gotten in the last, what, 10 years, because we're always so focused on this entertainment stimulus.
Right, looking for the next endorphin
Right.
release. We're like, "Oh,
Right.
look at this, look at this, look at this." Or
Yeah.
they call the halo effect. I think
Right.
any author has experienced that when they look at another author that is successful in their
Oh,
eyes and
sure.
they go,
Yeah.
"Why can't I be like that?"
Right.
Immediately you're inducing onto yourself any sort of depression, anxiety, stress
Right.
because you're feeling you're not good enough because you're not reaching this level that this person who you don't even know how they got there.
Right.
You really don't. And
Right.
I've noticed, and I know we all have been there, but like I've noticed having taken a massive step away when I did get on, I think it was Facebook, dude. I got on
Mhm.
Facebook like last weekend and I was kind
Yeah.
of scrolling and because I'll post and run, but sometimes I
Right.
scroll.
Sure,
And I
yeah.
was scrolling and I saw an author or something, and they were, in my eyes, what I would consider successful.
Mhm.
And I immediately got kinda bummed about myself. I was
Kinda
like, "Am I
jelly, kinda
doing"
bummed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I was like, "Am I
Yeah.
doing enough?" Like,
Yeah.
I physically can't do any more.
Right.
And then I literally instantly in that moment, I caught that train of thought, and I knew exactly what was happening, and I was like,
Yeah.
"Close the app,
Yeah.
walk away.
Yeah.
If this
Right.
is what you're gonna do,
Right.
don't look at it."
Well,
Yeah.
that's kind of why I put that post up, I think it was last week, of
Oh,
like
yeah, about the
my total numbers, like,
Yeah,
my total numbers on Urban Legends.
yeah.
I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna put it out there, and I'm gonna be, totally transparent. and and say, hey, some people might think these are great numbers, some people might think these are abysmal numbers and laugh, but bottom line is I don't care.
Mhm.
I'm doing my thing. I'm just doing what's up,
And if you're
and
happy, that's
yeah,
what matters.
exactly. So I'm in the same boat. I don't look at social media the same anymore. I really
No.
don't. And
No.
okay, let me ask you this. So since you've taken a pretty hefty step back, I have for sure, and I want to see if you feel the same way I feel. So when you get on, not to post but to scroll, do you find yourself scrolling faster? Like, oh my gosh, this post is stupid. Oh my gosh, this post is stupid. Why is this? And all the posts look the same, and there's really no
It is like the quickest scroll on the planet because I'm like, "Am I missing anything interesting?" Henry Cavill, stop. What is he
exactly
doing?
right, right. But like 90% of it is like it's like the same format, the same images, the same, saying the same thing, and it's kind of wild. It's kind of
It's an outside perspective looking in,
yeah,
almost. It's like you
yeah,
look at it and you're like, and I think you and I have talked about this, about the integrity and transparency of authors posting
yeah,
about their work and
yeah,
saying, "Oh, I'm a number 1 seller here," or "I
right,
have placed in this award," but, if you Google that award, you can
yeah,
literally buy the award, all
correct,
right?
correct,
And
right,
so I feel like I'm seeing a lot more of that all of a
yeah,
sudden where it's authors I know. This is
yeah,
not, I'm not making this up. Like, this is authors I know that are creating a false marketing
right,
scheme in order to say, look at me, look at me. And I'm seeing a lot more of that. And I'm like,
yeah,
you're not being honest. You're not being
right.
transparent.
It's we talked about it because I called it posturing. It's
Yeah, yes,
posturing. Yeah,
yes. And we literally talked about this like
yeah,
2 weeks ago. You sent me
yeah.
something. Yeah.
Or like 2 years ago, whenever it
I don't
was that
know,
we last.
honestly, at this point.
But I think, man, if anybody's listening to this, I don't know if anybody's listening, but if anybody's listening to this, do try take a month off
Yeah.
social media
Oh,
and see what happens, and see how your paradigm shifts, see how your view of it changes, because now, like, it's just totally different. It's just totally different for me. Like,
I
I
I
just I
completely
just
agree.
don't I just don't care.
I don't care.
Yeah.
So Micah, I've had, and I haven't told you this, I've had a few people reach out to me kind of weird because I'm not interacting with their stuff like I
Mhm.
used to.
Mhm.
And I have told them routinely that I'm just taking a step back. It's just social media. Like, if you want to talk
Right.
to me as an individual and a person, you know where to reach me. And it felt like they were chasing the number and not necessarily my friendship.
Right,
And
correct.
that was a
Yeah.
real eye opener for me.
Big wake up call. Yeah.
I was like, wow, like we we've talked for so long and it feels like all you care about is me interacting with your stuff.
Yeah.
I'm like, well, if you cared about me as we have talked for forever,
Right.
you would know that I have taken a step back, as I've repeated several times.
Exactly. Yeah.
Like, and I even said there is no obligation to interact with my post. You don't have to. I'm
Right.
like,
No, absolutely not.
please
Yeah.
don't. You
Yeah.
don't feel that obligation like my friendship is dependent on you engaging with a post that I made
Right.
4 months ago.
Right.
Like,
Exactly. Exactly.
okay. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think
Yeah, dude,
there's a
social media has skewed our perceptive.
it has.
It's crazy.
Like, what happened to just being human? Caring about the
Right.
human behind the screen and not the fact
Right.
that they liked your post.
Exactly.
Like, yeah,
Exactly.
I think there's a desperate need for more transparency, more humanity, and,
Yeah.
having taken a step back, and you and I we're beating a dead horse, it's like people desperately need to take a step back and
Yeah.
just
Yeah.
take a different perspective.
Just do it for your own health. Do it
Do
do
it.
it do it do it for a just do
Yeah.
it for a reset. Just reset your
Duh.
perspective on
Exactly, don't do it for
yeah.
anything else, like, and
Right.
it is literally, I cannot express how awesome it is just to take a step away, and I don't know, I think I've told you this before, but, like, prior to publishing, I never had social media. Like,
Yeah.
I was off the grid for I never existed on the grid to begin with,
Right. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
I started social media because it was a priority in marketing for
Right.
publishing,
Right.
and it's very, very enlightening, scary, and disturbing to
Yeah.
see how quickly and how integrated social media becomes in your life.
Yeah.
And it becomes your norm to
Right.
check
Exactly.
every other 5 minutes
Right.
because you're chasing something, or
Right.
you're desperately trying to see if somebody saw this or
Right.
whatever.
Exactly. Exactly.
And having taken a step away, it's so enlightening because I'm like, this was the life I had.
Right.
It's like, have more boundaries with yourself. You
Yeah.
owe it to yourself to have
Yeah.
boundaries.
Yeah.
Everybody does. It's at the end of the day, if that individual cares about you, like Mike and I have each other's numbers, like we're chatting all the time.
Right. Right.
We don't have to freaking like each other's posts to be like,
Exactly.
did you
Exactly.
like my post?
I mean, I do like your posts, but
When you're
I
scrolling.
but I don't have to.
Exactly. Big difference. If
Right,
I see
right.
your post, I'll be like, "Oh, it's Micah."
Exactly.
But I'm not
Exactly.
like, "Our friendship is dependent of me interacting on
Right.
your post."
Or if like Chelsea hasn't liked my post yet, let me I am her, or send her a
Exactly.
DM, and Chelsea, why aren't you liking my, get
Do you
get
not
get
care
out of
for
here,
me?
man.
Like,
Right,
what?
exactly.
What?
Yeah,
Like, exactly, because you and I know there's an entire life outside of
right,
the media.
right.
Like,
And even, I mean, even more so now, like within the last 2 or 3 years, dude, the reach has shrunk so much.
oh,
Like,
yeah.
why put so much emphasis on something that, dude, is not in your control at all? It's not your control at all. It's in the
Unless
control
you're
of the
pouring money into the
right,
advertisements, which
right.
they're constantly increasing the price of.
Constantly increasing the price. Otherwise, you have a very small circle. Stop, or don't expect that circle to be numbers, or to be
Please don't.
fans, or to be,
Yeah.
yeah, be friends. Show respect and compassion and love to those people who are in your circle,
Yeah.
because that's what's important. It is not important to have that tiny little circle that these corporations deign worthy of showing your stuff to, you know,
Buddy.
right. If they're following you and if they're actually interacting with you, it's not because they're fans. It's because they like you. and
Yeah.
and yeah, it's just a big difference. I think, yeah, chasing the numbers, chasing the clout on social media is a thing of the past, because it's not in our control anymore.
It's
The
not.
algorithms, the algorithms see to it that unless you're shelling out money, you're not getting past your circle.
No way. Instagram took a lesson out of TikTok, and they were like, "You want reach? Pay for
Yeah,
it."
yeah, pay
And you're
for it,
like, "What?
absolutely. And
Why?"
to be honest, if I'm going to pay for it, I'm going to go on to Amazon or Google ads and Amazon ads.
Yeah.
I've
Might as
I've done
well.
Instagram ads, and I mean, it's led to like one or two sales. Instagram ads are not where it's at.
They're
You
not
know,
where it's at where it used to be. When I
right?
originally started doing Instagram ads, when I was prepping for the first book release,
Yeah.
dude, I had so much reach. It
Oh
was
yeah,
like
it was ridiculous.
I would do a $30 or $40
Right.
ad, and it would run for 7 days, and
Yeah.
I would get like 100 new followers. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Thousands of
nuts.
interactions. Yeah,
Thousands of
it
interactions.
was ridiculous.
It was
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
And now if I run an ad on a wicked cool post, because
Yeah.
yeah, I love making cool posts.
Right.
That's probably why I post every day, because I just love making the
He's like, yeah,
post.
love doing it. Yeah.
But it's like you get like 4
Right.
interactions in the
It's
first
crazy.
48 hours, and you're like,
Yeah.
wow, that was
Yeah.
awesome.
Like, sweet, man. That was a great $30 spent. Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's changed a lot. And I know,
It
like,
has changed a lot.
TikTok is like, somebody just said the other day, like, TikTok's crazy advertisement it's an exorbitant amount of money now to
Is it
pay.
really?
Yeah.
Wow.
And you're
Yeah.
like, if you pay the little amount, you're not going to get
You're not
anywhere.
gonna get anything. Yeah.
And it's usually like bot views where it's like,
Right.
look at the views you got. And you're like,
Right. Right.
and you've got 3 likes.
Yeah. Exactly.
Those must be
Exactly.
authentic.
It was hilarious. I was going through I can't remember who, not that I would say, but it was somebody we all know,
We
and their
all want to
post had
know.
like, I'm going to tell everyone. No, but their post had like something like 700 likes. I was like, "Oh, that's some good engagement. Good for them."
Yeah.
And then I was like, "Wait a minute." And the comment thing was blank. So I hit the comments. There was not a single comment. 700 likes and not a single comment. I was like, okay. So then I went into their followers, and they were all, names with underscores or names with dot dot and then something, or And
Bots.
yeah, yeah. I was like, holy cow, man.
The curse of the
Like,
bots.
yep. It's like, it's no goo. It's all fake, y'all. I can't remember which one it is in the Matrix. Is it the red, blue, or the red pill or the blue pill? That, anyways, man,
Such a good movie.
take the pill that brings you back to reality, because
Yeah, it's
yeah,
important to take a step back and like, I mean, I've said it, Micah has said it, like social media is great because there has been some incredible connections and
yeah,
I know for a fact my book would not be where it is today without the community and the
yeah.
people I've connected with. However, there's a fine line. Like set boundaries, take care of yourself,
Right.
don't let it consume you.
Right.
Like
Well, and think, but you said it right there. Social media has led to great. What was the word? Did you said relationships? Did you say connections? I think you said
community.
connections.
Yeah.
Maybe you said connections. Yeah. But social media has led to great connections. But we lose track of that. Look at me and you. Look at me and Jen, or me and Daniel, and or Betsy, or whoever, these people that I've met along the way, who are beautiful, wonderful people. You know, Deb, all the Anatolian Press people, and far beyond. But they are They're, to me, they're not readers. They're not fans that
No,
that
they're
I that I
just good
expect to
people you've met,
buy my book and like my posts. No, they're actual connections. That's a beautiful
Exactly.
thing, and that is something that social media is great for when it works. But it's such a skewed mentality to take that same thing that can build these wonderful connections, and then expect it to make you famous,
And that's my
right?
problem. Exactly. It makes my skin crawl how people just
Yeah,
want to just it's like they post on social media, they expect miracles, they
right,
expect billion new followers,
right,
they're going to be a millionaire overnight and I'm like, "Bro, there are billions of people on social
right,
media. Get in
right.
line with the
All trying to
algorithm."
do the same thing you're doing. That's the crazy
Yeah.
part. That's the crazy part.
That's what it's humbling though.
Yeah.
When you
Oh,
start to
sure.
realize everybody's in the same boat.
Yeah.
And that's where you and I have talked about how the community feels a bit toxic right now.
Yeah.
And I'm throwing it out there because it does
Sure.
feel that. And I know
Yeah.
there's other people who feel the same way where there's
Yeah.
just a weird vibe in the community right
It's
now.
it's super it's super weird. The vibe is
Yeah.
super weird right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's probably helped that I've taken a step back because I don't want to see it anymore.
Yeah.
But the toxicity, I think people have forgotten that we're all doing the same thing. We
Right.
all want we all want to connect with other individuals. We all
Yeah.
want, a new reader and
Right.
all of that. Like, duh. So
Yeah.
don't forget it.
And I think again, back in the day, when social media, or at least when you and I were new on social media, there was more of a community and a
Oh, it was
camaraderie.
huge. It was amazing.
It was one giant community and camaraderie. I don't think it's the fault of the people,
No,
because the algorithm has had a lot to do with segmenting and separating
hiding
that community.
hiding
Yeah,
post.
right.
There was a phase there, I think last year or something. Gosh, I can't remember. But
Yeah.
people started reaching out to other people saying, "I am so sorry I haven't seen your stuff.
Oh
Like
yeah.
I've it's been your stuff was hidden from me and I
Yeah.
just stumbled on your account and
Yep.
here we are."
Oh,
And I was like,
Deborah,
"Whoa."
Deborah, who I love, and I super support. Like, I was talking to her the other day, and she said something about her book was getting huge praise on one of these Facebook groups. I was like, "That's awesome. Why haven't I seen anything about it?" She's like, "Well, I've been posting about it." I was like,
I
"I haven't
haven't
seen."
seen a post from
Yeah,
Deborah.
I was like, "I haven't seen a post from you in like 3 months." And she's like, "Yeah." And sure enough, I went and looked, and I just hadn't been seeing them.
Holy crap. I'm going to
Yeah,
have to look at that cuz I haven't
yeah,
seen a post from Deborah in months.
yeah. So that's the thing, is that, like, we have to understand how fake, how matrix the social media really is. So what used to be,
Dude.
before it became this giant thing, it used to be, yes, we were all one community and we were all together and it was great. But now social media has really, they have segmented and separated and parsed off all these different groups and all these, and it's we are beholden to them to even
Mhm.
be part of the or a community,
Right.
which is
That's
crazy.
disturbing.
Yeah, it
It
is. It's
shouldn't be
super
that way.
disturbing. So,
Yeah.
which just goes back to the fact that, man, taking a break, get back to reality.
Yeah.
If you've got good friends, and you want to keep up with them or collaborate with them or work with them or whatever the case may be, you know, get their number, get their email, and do
Yeah.
that in real life. Do a Zoom call between two friends.
Exactly.
Don't post something and then hope that they like it.
And that's the
That's not
obligation to the
friendship.
friendship.
That's right.
What?
Exactly. Yeah.
Come
That's
again?
that's that's not what that means. Let's take a break because in the spirit of
Cold brew?
um not of cold brew, but in the spirit of just this new awakening and this new I feel more alive. I feel more alive
Micah.
in the last like month or two than I have in I don't know, years. And it feels great.
Freaking love that.
I'm super healthy. I'm getting stronger. My body is changing for the better.
Yes.
I took a picture of myself shirtless the other day, and my nipples had like moved in like 2 inches. Because all the fat's leaving and the muscles are growing. So that's cool.
That's
Like literally
cool.
like 2 inches. It was pretty funny. I
Whoa.
compared pictures. I was like, holy cow, that's like my nipples have moved like 2 inches. But
Nipples have moved.
feeling good, feeling alive. So in the spirit of feeling alive and not giving a flying F about anything anymore, let's take a break. I'll be right back.
That's Micah, everybody. Unhinged. I love it. I love it. If anybody listens to this, and Micah, if he sees this, I performed plant surgery yesterday. You see, I have a plant issue, and I have one plant, wide leaf, don't remember the name of it, but it started to get really weird looking, yellowing on the leaves and stuff like that. And I had just recently bought it and repotted it. And I thought, you know what? Something's not right with the root system. So I took it out yesterday and it was rock solid in the new potting. And that means that it's been waterlogged. There's no oxygen getting into the roots or anything like that. And that can sometimes happen when they're overwatered and put into a really tight pot. And that's what happened when I bought it. And I thought, oh my gosh. So I had to get in there and start getting some of that dirt out to give it some oxygen so those roots could start to breathe. And it was an intensive surgery. And now my plant's in ICU suffering from severe shock. So we'll see what happens. Here's Micah.
Are you talking to yourself?
I was.
That's cute.
I was giving the viewers something if they see it.
Oh, I'm not. I'm the one who edits this.
I just literally
I'm gonna see it.
I was like, you know what? Micah's gone. I'm gonna tell a little side story.
What was the story? Well, I'll catch it in editing. I'm sure it'll be funnier that way, anyways.
I was like, well, Micah's gone.
Okay, so in the spirit of this new freedom, this new
Uh-huh.
when we started doing the podcast, I
Like a year
stopped.
ago.
Yeah, it was a year ago. More than that now. It was more than a year ago. It was August 22nd. So yeah, it was
Oh my
more than a
God,
year.
that's right.
Yep.
Wow.
But I had stopped dipping during our shows because I was like, oh, that's not professional.
And you're
That's
like, F it now.
no, I'm like, F it. I'm gonna do what I want because this is our show. And
The spirit of I smell bacon or something downstairs.
oh, I love bacon.
Wow.
Bacon
It smells
time.
really good.
Yeah, you need to send me some. Bacon is so good.
Wow.
Actually, if we have bacon, I might make bacon later too.
You
But yeah,
should.
in the spirit of us doing us, living our lives, breaking free from the matrix of social media, not caring about what other people think, I'm gonna put a dip in. So what's up?
I think there's a new I freaking love it, Micah. You freaking do
Yeah,
you, man. I
yeah,
love it.
darn
I
right.
love it. With the beard. You're like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. A little dip.
I'm super happy for you.
Yeah, I am too.
Micah, I told you this about a week ago, a little over a week ago.
Mm-hmm.
And this is news for every single viewer here. I put on a daily glucose monitor. And
Yes, yeah,
yes.
yeah.
And so I'm not diabetic, pre-diabetic or anything like that. As in the last month or so, there have been several companies that have finally released a day-to-day glucose monitor that the everyday individual can buy.
Yeah.
And it's $50 a monitor, wears for 2 weeks. You get a pack of 2, so it's $100, free shipping.
Okay.
And you get an app, you download it, everything. And like you get to track in real time your glucose. How does stress impact it? How does
Yeah.
this meal impact it? How does this cup of coffee with this type of creamer impact it?
Yeah.
How does working out impact it?
Mhm.
I mean, your glucose is literally registered, like your sleep patterns impact your
Yeah.
glucose.
Yeah.
I mean, everything. And you start to notice, how does your body react and when does it react? When does the insulin response happen versus this other individual in the same household eating the same thing?
Yeah, yeah.
Because genetics play a massive role in how
Sure, big
your
time.
glucose
Yeah.
and insulin responds.
Yeah.
And so it's been super freaking awesome. It's
Yeah.
so enlightening, you know?
So, ignorant question, and this
Talk to
is
me,
an ignorant
goose.
question, I don't know, but, so I've seen the patches, and I saw the one you have.
Yeah.
Does it penetrate the skin? Do
Tiny,
you
tiny needle. And
Okay, yeah,
so,
okay, that's what I thought, okay,
yeah,
cool.
very small
Yeah,
needle. You don't feel it at all. When you put it on, it feels like just a little slap against your arm.
that's crazy, but that's
And
still enough to get into the bloodstream
yep,
or whatever it needs to do? Yeah,
yep.
crazy.
And so it just sits there and it does its own. It's waterproof. Like you can take showers with it. Obviously, you
Yeah,
wouldn't be
it's
wearing
wild.
it if you couldn't take a shower for 2
So
weeks.
what benefits have you, seen? Have you learned? What have you gleaned from doing this for, like, the past how long you've
It's
done it?
Friday. It's been 9 days now.
Okay,
And
cool. So
so,
what kinda trends have you learned, or what have you learned about your body?
which is freaking awesome. So
Yeah,
my family, we're all wearing it, and everybody is basically monitoring to see how does their body react, because
that's
everybody's
cool.
body's going to react to the same meal slightly differently.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's what's so fascinating. But you can also start to see genetic patterns. And like I have started to notice, I am like a cut and copy paste version of my dad, like genetic
Crazy.
wise,
Huh.
because my glucose, so say you eat a slice of pizza, you are going to have an increase
Mhm.
in your glucose register
Yeah,
number, whatever you want to call it. And that's because complex sugars and starches are being
right.
released. That's breaking down into glucose. Your insulin kicks back up and it goes, let's beat the crap out of this.
Yeah,
And then your numbers start to go down.
yeah.
But then as digestion continues, you're going to see your number go back up. Now, it's natural, very natural. You have
Mhm.
few hours, several hours where you'll see jumps because that's
Yeah,
how your digestion works.
yeah.
Now, what I've noticed, the pattern is that I don't return right away to my base levels that I had
Okay.
prior to my pizza. Sometimes it takes a day, maybe
Really?
36 hours before my
Whoa.
body lowers back down to where it was pre pizza.
Hmm.
High complex starch, sugary
Yeah,
type foods,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
And not pure sugar. I'm
You're
talking
right,
complex,
right,
those carby stuff that you have to that really break down.
right.
And my dad's body does the same thing, which is very
Crazy.
interesting. This is live information that,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
in the medical
You can sit on
field,
the couch and you can just watch it. Yeah,
you literally
that's
can watch
crazy.
it. Like, I literally am like checking my phone, like your Stello app is running. Like it's
Yeah,
constantly there.
that's cool.
And everything impacts it. And so it's what's so fascinating because, like, yeah, my pancreas and liver might be doing their job right now, but it's
Yeah,
really important to think, where is it going to be in 5 to 10 years
sure.
if these patterns are noted now
Right.
and that threshold changes?
Yeah.
So that's what's so fascinating. I literally, everybody should wear one.
So
I think
is your dad pre-diabetic or diabetic?
he comes from a diabetic family.
Yeah,
And
so
now he's
same here.
not.
Yeah, same
Yeah.
here. Yeah,
And he's
yeah.
not.
Okay.
But that's because when I mentioned to you, like, I eat we eat pretty healthy here, like
Yeah, which is
vegetables,
super important.
protein.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's because years ago we did do a lifestyle change in
Mhm.
order for his health. And it was
Good,
super easy
good.
to do.
Yeah.
But it's very integrated in our everyday life now.
Awesome.
And
Awesome.
but that being said, everybody's threshold changes as they get older.
Yes,
And
correct. Yeah.
so that where I'm saying, like, it takes me a while to get back down.
Yeah.
If I were to eat like crap for the next 5 years,
Right.
yeah, I would be pre-diabetic.
Right. Well, and
Like,
see, it's probably funny because I might be around your dad's same age. He's probably maybe
no
a little
idea.
older. How old's your dad?
Maybe early 50s?
Early 50s. So
Yeah.
I'm 44. So and like you said, years ago you made this change for his health.
Yeah.
That's, when all this stuff started happening, that's like, dude, I've got to make a change. I can't live the lifestyle of a, you know, of a couch potato. I can't do it.
Yeah,
It's just not. You can do that in your 20s if you want to, and you're still okay.
because your
But
pancreas and liver can withstand it.
right,
They're able to recover everything like that. But those
right,
thresholds, as you get older, they start to break down,
yeah,
and you
yeah.
have to be aware of like, now you shouldn't stop living, right?
Of course
But
not.
it's understanding like if you were to eat 6 days a week, super healthy, and for me, it's easy to say cut out carbs for 6 days. It's totally easy.
Yeah,
Um, freakishly easy actually.
yeah. It
But
really is.
yeah, it's because it's been integrated in my life for a long
Yeah.
time, and you can feel the difference.
Right. Well, and that's why when you were saying, I wanted to interject there when you said, it doesn't mean you have to stop living. I'll tell you what, like I said earlier, I feel healthier and more alive. I feel more life pumping through me now than I have the last 10 years. You
Yeah.
know, because I'm eating clean, I'm intermittent fasting,
Yep.
I'm low carbs, high fat, high protein,
Yep.
I'm exercising every day.
Feels so
So
good.
that's not stopping living. That's like starting living,
Exactly. And of
which is
course,
yeah,
enjoy the freaking cinnamon roll, the chocolate cake,
absolutely.
whatever. But if
Yeah,
you know you're having that once and you let your body adjust and do its thing,
right,
and you already have an awesome active lifestyle where you're like, you know what, I'm up and moving around. I'm not sitting on my butt all day,
right.
like, or I work out, or I know that I have a really clean eating habit
Yeah,
lifestyle. Like, it doesn't matter. Have the chocolate cake, dude, because it's
right.
damn good.
It's so
Nobody's
good.
stopping that.
But
Nobody.
if you're having all the chocolate cake and then on Sunday you're having one, clove of broccoli or whatever, a head of broccoli,
Congratulations.
yeah,
Here's
you're
your
not doing
insulin shot.
you're not doing it right.
Exactly. That's where it's like, that's what's so enlightening about this is like, think about this. Like, if you had a threshold, right? And you were riding that threshold, and you had, like, we went to a restaurant on Saturday night, and it wrecked everybody's freaking glucose. Like,
Sure. Yeah.
whatever ingredients that they had, we think they had like freaking 3,000 pounds of sugar in their
Oh, for
stuff,
sure. Yeah.
because
Yeah.
our glucose, I mean, we had pizza, and our pizza glucose looked normal. Like,
Yeah.
it was
Yeah. That's
bizarre.
crazy. Yeah.
But so think about, like, if you were to go somewhere and you were to eat really poorly and have really unclean food,
Yeah.
your glucose is going to go up.
Right.
Now, if consider that your everyday lifestyle,
Right.
your numbers are going to be riding right up against that threshold, maybe
Right.
even over that threshold.
You build a new baseline, and the baseline
Exactly.
is in itself dangerous. If
Exactly.
you have a healthy baseline and then you
Yeah.
have your chocolate cake or whatever and it spikes and then you can
Go
bring it back
down.
down.
Yeah,
But
exactly.
if you have that extremely unhealthy high
Because that's
baseline,
your everyday
right,
lifestyle.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's just
that's
it's an
crazy.
awareness, it's
Correct.
so
Right.
important. I
And still,
also,
you still do with the information what you will.
of course.
Everyone knows that smoking is bad for you, but people still smoke.
Right. This is
And
just
it,
an
it
awareness.
blackens and solidifies and hardens your lungs, and it's not good. And bad things can happen,
Right.
but people still smoke. I mean, I know dipping is not good, but I still do it. So even with the proper information, people have the right and the
Yeah.
freedom to choose.
Do with it what you want,
Right,
what you want to do. Like,
right,
that's the important part, is just knowing that it's information, you
yeah,
have it, make that decision,
right,
move on.
yeah, exactly.
I also did a really interesting, and again, people, I'm sorry, you all are going to hear our personal lives here on this
Right,
episode today.
right.
So
And
I
I don't know,
did
man. That might be the direction of this. It's just like
hear it.
two authors
Get
talking crap.
real.
Yeah,
We
two
just
authors
get
getting real,
real
because that's about what it's going to be.
because we need more realness.
Yeah,
Let's be
because
honest.
doing it the other way is like, again, it's putting so much of your own creative energy, and you're continually expelling that energy and just not getting it back, not replenishing the energy.
Right.
It's a recipe for disaster. It's just not.
It's just, let's a countdown. Add the countdown
Yeah,
ticker, everybody.
that's right. Right. Put it right there at the bottom. Countdown ticker.
Yeah.
So to avoid burnout and to avoid stress and anxiety, unhealthy things, unhealthy thoughts, to avoid negative feelings of the community or of this energy that you're putting forth or of your creative process, all of that, you have to have that that balance. And so I
Have
think,
to.
yeah. So two authors talking.
Getting
Two
real,
authors
dude.
talking, man. That's
Getting
what's up.
real. We
Yeah,
hope
getting
we
real.
inspire other people just to be real.
Yeah,
It's a crazy
yeah. Be
concept.
real. I mean, you're not gonna be as awesome as us, but I mean, that's just it's just not gonna happen. But and speaking about apps, I wanted to show you this
What?
rad app. So uh, I used to when I used to lift, I used Garmin, right? And
Garbage.
Garmin does a lot, but back in the day, it was more like running, biking, things
Okay.
like that. Now they actually have integrated weight training and things like
Oh,
that, so that you can monitor how much you've sweat, so how much water you've lost. You can monitor your heart rate, how many calories you've burned, how many minutes you've been like in cardio, how many minutes you've been in extreme cardio, how many all this kind of stuff. So you can monitor all that. So check this out. This app, and I don't know if you can see it. I think I've showed it to you, but
yeah.
it'll show you uh every muscle group you hit, how long you worked out, what your heart rate was, how many calories you burned. Look at 734 calories in one workout.
Oh,
Yeah, dude. Like, and like you said, it's just knowledge, but it's
it's
good.
just knowledge. It's
So
awesome.
so basically, we're sponsored by both Garmin and the glucose monitor. So if
Stello.
it if people want to go buy those products, we will get a small commission.
Dude, it's freaking awesome. Like these
That's a lie. We
everyday
are not sponsored by either, and we will not get a commission. Just FYI.
like this the everyday glucose monitor just got released. Like this is
Yeah,
a brand new change in the medical field. Like
yeah,
it is, and obviously if you're diabetic or pre-diabetic, you're going to have glucose monitors.
right,
But for the
right.
everyday individual where
Yeah,
you can measure literally the slightest things to see what it does to your body,
yeah.
like that is
It's
incredible.
pretty cool. It's pretty
It's
awesome.
freaking awesome. Like
Yeah,
I for experimentation, I cut out caffeine completely.
interesting. Okay, I
And
didn't know. I really didn't know caffeine would have an effect on glucose.
well, caffeine acts as an energy releaser. It
Okay,
provides energy and your body starts to
right,
rely on that,
right.
right?
Sure.
And now I have shamelessly drank caffeinated coffee for years. And your body learns to rely on that, but it doesn't know how to produce its own stabilizing energy throughout the
True.
day.
Correct. Okay, I see
And
that.
so I went, why not? Let's do it. And so Sunday, I think I started. Now, mind you, I spent the first 3 days thinking I was going to die of exhaustion at 1 o'clock in the
Absolutely.
afternoon.
Yeah.
I crashed, like passing out at my laptop crashed.
Crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, like it was intense.
Yeah.
And today I feel completely normal. This yesterday and today are the first days I feel actually
Awesome.
normal.
Yeah.
And I'm doing decaf because I
Mhm.
love my coffee.
That's what I'm doing right now. Ever since
Yeah.
the anxiety panic thing
Yeah.
flared up again, I just went back to decaf. Yeah.
You still get the flavor,
Hmm. Hmm.
that's what we're here for.
Right.
And so
That Folgers decaf flavor, baby.
that's
You
disgusting.
gotta
You're a
love it. That is the
monster.
flavor. That is the flavor everybody's
No,
chasing.
it's not.
Yep. Yep. That's the stuff right there.
No. No, 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 no. But so this is a really interesting study that was done in diabetics was
Hmm.
if they cut out caffeine, their glucose will have volatile spikes in it. And that's because the energy in your body isn't regulating. And because of that, your insulin resistance goes up and then your glucose spikes. And so this is a real academic study. And I thought to
Interesting.
myself, very interesting. Now,
Yeah.
I've had in the last few days, this is real studies, people. I
Yeah.
love this stuff. In the
Yeah.
last 4 or 5 days, I've had an elevated glucose of higher than 10 points, what I was normally having. And it's the
Wow.
thresholds changed. And
Okay.
that's because my body is in the middle of adjusting.
Yeah. Right.
And it's still trying to adjust a regular energy release to keep me going throughout the day because
Interesting.
that lack of energy regulation
Right.
causes if influctions with your cortisol even if you don't feel it.
Yeah.
Your sleep patterns which have direct impact on your glucose management.
Yeah.
Everything. Like there
That's
is no study
wild.
on the planet out yet with everyday individuals who cut out caffeine that have a direct impact with glucose. And
Huh.
so I'm just letting everybody know I'm a study participant.
Yeah, you're a lab rat now.
I am a lab rat. And
Yeah.
so it is fascinating.
That's awesome. Huh,
Yeah.
so cool. How interesting.
This is stuff you don't know.
Right, right. That's awesome, man. I love it. I love it.
Yeah.
So
So my
should we
spiel.
uh should we talk any writing? I mean, since we are kind of technically,
We are like hour in.
writers talking, writers keeping it real. I'll start. I'm like I said, I've come back to myself. I feel like myself for the first time in years, and it's been wonderful. I've been reading a lot, and
Oh,
I've been writing a lot, and I haven't done that in years. So I'm super pumped about it. It's crazy the level of satisfaction and I don't want to say worth, but I want to say life fulfillment. Uh, yeah, fulfillment that you get when you are using your creativity and releasing that creativity not for someone else and not for a like or a buck, but for the simple pleasure of releasing that creativity.
I could not agree more with you.
Yeah,
That's
it's
there is
it's been
nothing that
it's
comes
been
close to it.
it's been beautiful. Like before, it would be like I'd have to force myself a time out of everything else that I'm doing to sit down, and then everything I wrote would be forced. Like every
Mhm.
letter, every word would be forced, and
'Cause you're
that
burnt
leads
out, your creative brain is like, "I
right.
cannot connect with
And you're
this."
just trying to get a time to do it. And you're just trying to get it done because you have to get it done.
Mhm.
Whereas now it's like my focus is solely on my family,
I
solely
love
on
that.
Becky, solely on my girls, solely on Amanda, and not on social media and not on other people's posts and not on anything like that. And now when I sit down to write, it's like it's a privilege to sit
Yeah.
down and write. It's not forced. It's not something I
That's
have to do.
such
Yeah, it's something I get to do.
that's a good word to use, a privilege, because
It
I
is.
think when you are a creative soul, you have to feel that fire
Yeah,
and you have to take care of it. And I really do feel like if you're not taking care of that creative part of you,
yeah,
a piece of you dies. Like it
it
literally
does.
shrivels up.
And I
I
will
I
say
read
that I felt dead. Yeah, for
yeah,
a long time.
it is the strangest phenomenon that happens. Even if you
Hmm.
don't feel like writing because maybe life is too crazy and whatnot, if you
Yeah,
don't have the privilege to sit down and just take an hour, let's just throw an
right,
hour and write, like it really does feel like a piece of you has just been stolen.
right.
I
Yeah,
remember when I worked at a corporation a couple of years ago, it was a nightmare.
hmm,
Completely lied for me from the get go about the metrics, job requirements, all of
yeah,
that. But I was willing to try and I got into it. And when I got into it, it suffocated me. I couldn't
yeah,
I was chained to my desk. I didn't have any time to myself, and I felt like I couldn't write. I
yeah,
had no freaking creativity, energy, anything like that.
yeah.
And it went months like that. And that was the worst I have ever felt
Hmm.
because I could not stoke that creativity. I
Yeah,
could not take care of that creative soul that I think lives in every creative person.
right,
So
right,
it's so integral. That's why I've always given you a hard time because I'm like, Micah, right. Because I'm like,
right,
I know just how critical it is
right.
to take care
But
of
see,
that
and
side.
when you were, pushing me to write, because you have since I've known you, because since I've known you, you've known that I've not really been able to write
Yeah.
because I've been so busy or so caught up in other things, and yeah, it's just been a complete paradigm shift, to
Yeah.
where, to find the things that are important. And in finding the things that are important, I also find myself, which is interesting, So, yeah, so it's been great. And I've been writing a lot and reading a lot, and I've been loving it. Also on that same topic of privilege, I do think also that that's how you need to look at being healthy
Yeah.
and working out and things like that. It is a privilege if you look at it as a requirement or something that you have to do, then you're obviously going to fight against it.
You're going to fail.
Right. But if you look at it as what it is, which is a privilege, I have the privilege to eat healthy, and I have the privilege to take time and work out and better myself. Yeah. Oh, is Decky? Hi, buddy. Hi. Hi, bub.
Bye.
Bye, bub. But yeah, so
Bolted.
that's I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. A lot. I've really been loving life the last like I
Oh,
don't know 4 weeks, and I can honestly say that I haven't in the last few years.
oh, I totally get it
Yeah,
though. Like
yeah,
being able to prioritize yourself,
yeah,
I always say is the number one thing. Because if
yeah,
you're not prioritizing yourself, whether that's writing, working out, your health, whatever that is, a good
yeah,
book at night, it starts to feel like everything chips you away.
yeah.
And 3 months down, 4, 5, 6 months down the road, you start to get bitter. And you're like,
Right,
what
right,
happened to me? What can
right,
I do?
right,
What I don't even have energy to take care of what I want to do. I don't have
right.
energy to read. I started reading
Exactly.
again too. I was
Yeah.
very
Good.
excited about that.
Yeah.
Hard science fiction book. I was
Nice.
like,
Nice.
yeah, it's so
Good.
good.
It is so good, and so multiply. Your 3, 5, 6 months. Multiply that by
Few years.
years. Yeah. It's just like I just didn't feel like the same person. So, yeah. If anybody's still listening or watching or starts listening or watching, man, you're gonna see a whole new Micah because, yeah, it's good. It's good. It feels good, man.
And that's what's all about. Taking care of you. Like
Yeah.
God. I know I've said it before, but like I walked away from freelance editing in order to focus on
Right.
this new shift with the education, the
Right.
tech work and all that like that. But in doing so, I also finally have had the opportunity to really write again
Right.
and just focus on my stuff and not have to feel like I'm stretched in 15 different miles.
Well,
And
and
it has God
think of the drain that freelance editing was putting on you. You're putting in
terrifying.
insane amounts of hours and hard work. It is
Bro,
hard work. So putting in an insane amount of hours at hard work and literally making like a pittance for what you're
nothing.
doing. How I don't know, devastating to your
Demoralizing.
psyche, demoralizing, to your spirit, and to be doing that for however long you did it, a couple years or whatever,
And
it's like
then still be have that pressure where it's like, go write the book. And I'm like, bro, I've been staring at my
right,
laptop for 12 hours.
right,
Like, I cannot physically sit down and stare at my own work.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
So
yeah,
no, I
dude,
completely it feels so good to have taken a
yeah.
step back like that because now it's like when I'm sitting in front of the screen, I'm doing it for whatever I need to do, right?
For you,
Like
you're
I'm
doing it for
work
you.
That's a crazy concept.
Yeah, it's wild, isn't it?
Yep, and I
Yeah,
get to walk away and do whatever the heck I want.
exactly, exactly.
No, it's
Yeah,
been amazing. Like I finished holy crap. I think when we walked away,
hmm
when we took our break, I think I had just started Morai's storyline for book 4.
correct. Yeah, because that's the last thing I remember.
Yeah, I literally finished it. And
Really
yeah, and now I'm almost 10,000 words in Syra's storyline.
awesome.
I mean, how freeing is that? I'm like,
So
oh,
obviously, I've read your books multiple times, so I
of
know them in
course.
and out.
You know every line.
But pretend that I haven't, for the sake of other people listening who may not
Okay.
have. Are your books segmented by like by chapter and POV, or are they segmented by POV for like one act and then a different POV for act two? How are you doing that? 'Cause you say his storyline.
Yeah. Okay.
So
So I should break this down nice and easy here.
I mean, of course, I already know, but I want you to do it for other people.
Of
Yeah.
course. When I first started writing The Blood of the Lion, the first book,
hmm
I was writing I would alternate. I had an entire document and I would go chapter 1, Morai. And
Okay.
then I'd finish that chapter and I'd jump into chapter 2, Syra,
Yeah.
just throwing that out there.
Yeah.
And
And
when
was
I
that the
did
end product? Is that how the end product?
Yeah, so the
Okay.
end product is
Okay.
alternating
Okay.
chapters.
Gotcha.
So you have 3 main characters alternating.
Gotcha.
They're across the entire world, like
And you don't go
completely
into
different
any other
cultures.
POV besides one of those three?
No,
Gotcha.
no.
Okay.
It's just except for the prologue in The Blood of the Lion, which we know that character because obviously if you read the book, you know who that character is. No, I'm just kidding.
100%. It's my favorite character. My favorite character.
Actually, one of my favorite opening scenes of all time is
Yeah.
still the freaking prologue.
Yeah. It's so good. I've read
Totally
it
good.
42
It's
times.
totally good.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when I learned my lesson and that was a terrible method. I was like, I
Okay.
can't, I'm getting out of my character's head. Like I'm breaking up to because they're 3 different massive characters. I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah. Yeah.
completely different personalities. I can't do this.
Yeah.
And so then I took the new method, which is each character gets their own document. And
Okay.
I they have anywhere between 17 to 19 chapters each.
Okay.
Usually it's maybe one character has an extra chapter. Usually it's Morai because he's a demanding little fool.
Right. Right.
But I write their entire storyline
Okay.
in each document.
Okay.
And so that way it's solely their world. I
Yeah.
don't break out of it because usually they're not necessarily engaging with each other directly
Yeah.
yet, but they've had some moments where they've
Yeah.
interacted.
Hmm.
Book 3. But because of that, it's like I just need to keep them separate. And then when I get all that, I edit everything to do a
Hmm.
self edit. Then I build the manuscript and I
Okay.
freaking pen and paper that one, baby. And I pen and paper and I freaking
Interesting.
build alternating POVs. I see, because by then I know every chapter by heart. So I'll look at a chapter title and go, okay,
Crazy.
that's the big chapter. And like go,
So
okay,
is it almost at that point like a copy paste? Like, okay, this
oh
is this
yeah,
is
it's
this is
copy
chapter one,
pasting.
bam.
Yeah.
And then chapter
Once,
two is
yep.
gonna be bam. That's
Yeah.
wild. That's what a I wonder how many other authors have that style or technique. That's crazy.
Yeah, I literally have notebooks where it's on the back end, it's entirely like, so I will do all my edits, self edits, comments, everything like that in Word document. When
Okay.
it comes to the development edits and
Yeah.
like my own personal edits, once my editor gets my stuff back, it is
Mhm.
pen and paper, dude. Multicolored
Awesome.
pens. I write down every chapter.
So you
Yeah,
handwrite every word of of the manuscript.
no, just the
Okay.
chapter
So you
title.
chapter title. Gotcha.
And then
Chapter
the
title.
notes to myself,
Then the notes. Okay. Okay.
whatever, if I look at it again and I go, that freaking blows, that did not
Yeah.
land like I thought it would the first
Yeah.
time around,
Yeah.
then I leave a note to myself. And then
Gotcha.
whatever editor notes I have, I work through those. And it's
Okay.
just like, it is book 3. That was a terrifying freaking few pages. Like I was scribbling things because I was restructuring. Because in
Huh.
the last minute, I decided to do some massive restructuring
Yeah.
towards the part 2. And I was
Okay.
like, oh my God.
Huh.
It was like color pens on top of color pens.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome.
But it was so satisfying.
Yeah. That's crazy, dude. I love that. I love hearing that style. That's just so man, it's wild to me. I've never heard of that style before. That's crazy.
It helps me, like the writing portion, keeping this character separate.
Yeah.
It really helps me stick in their
Hmm.
head. I have to keep in their head because they're entirely different tones,
Yeah. Oh, sure.
personalities,
Yeah.
even narrative styles. Certain
Right.
words are said in Morai storyline
Right.
dialect,
Yeah.
and it's like I can't break out of that every chapter I finish so I can jump to another character.
Yeah.
Like, oh
So
God, no.
let me ask you this guy. I did see and I liked it. I liked it, everyone. I liked her
What?
post. Uh I saw a post and I liked it just to let you know in case that changes our friendship if I didn't like it. Um but no, I saw a post where you were talking about your new project, which we've talked about a little
Oh,
bit, but
Project
a
Realm
whole new
Thief.
world, that kind of thing. And you were saying that you were super stoked about the world building.
Oh yeah.
So I wanted to ask how much of your world building is done pre everything. Do you do a lot of world building pre characters, pre actual writing of the manuscript at all, or is the world building done as you write?
I would say about 10% was done pre.
Okay,
And that just gets the ground lay work
which that's how
out,
I do it. Okay, yeah,
Yeah, that's just
yeah,
like, okay, I know exactly where they are. I kind of have an idea of the number of realms
yeah,
or, countries if you're talking about the Varillian saga,
yeah,
like all of that. But when it comes to actual detailed world building where I am literally like on the fly, it is just coming to me.
yeah,
It is when I'm writing
yeah.
and it
Cool.
just makes sense.
Yeah.
And then I leave notes to myself in the
Right.
document where I'm like,
Yeah.
add this to the terminology,
Right.
or like I will, for example, in the Project Realm Thief, which I am so excited about this.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
That is like Sandman, Good Omens, and Loki series got
Yeah.
together and had a baby.
Yeah.
That's the
It's
best way I can describe
freaking
it.
awesome. Yeah.
I'm very excited about it.
Yeah.
But the wow, I just got another whiff of bacon. Excuse me.
Love
It smells
bacon.
so good.
Oh, it's so good. So good.
But for example, I've taken on a little bit of a new approach to my outlining tactic, and that
Okay.
is and it's worked. I did it for
Mhm.
Morai, and for some odd reason, it freaking works. So I'm like, I'm gonna roll with this for a while, and I'm
Yeah.
doing it with Syra too.
Yeah.
I have the Word document. I jump down and I go chapter 1, chapter 2, chapter 3, chapter
Mhm.
blah blah blah. And then I highlight the chapter and then I add a comment. And then I go,
Okay.
okay, what do I want to
Yes.
happen?
That's
And
how I do it. That's how I do
oh
it.
my gosh, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's
So
amazing.
with the Singing Blade, which is what I'm, my project that I
Such
had
an amazing
started
title. Yeah.
15 years ago, and and just now starting to actually take it seriously. Yeah. So I did 36 chapters,
Yeah.
and in each chapter, this chapter this happens, and in this
Yeah.
chapter this happens, and it's not just a sentence. It's like
No,
it
it's a
could be like,
freaking
yeah, it could be like 4 paragraphs. It could be like two
yeah.
pages.
Right.
So it's like a mini version or a summarized version of the whole chapter.
Yep.
And so by the time you get done reading all 36 of these entries, you actually get the story.
You
You're
know
like,
what's
oh man,
that's
that's a great story.
right. It
So
leaves a
now,
tone. It's like you
yeah,
just get
yeah.
it.
So you already have it. So yeah, so that's how I do mine. Yeah,
Yeah, I just started doing that, and instead of handwriting my outlines, and I have gosh, it's been an eye opener for me. It just
awesome.
works because now I
Yeah,
can get ideas down on the fly.
yeah,
And it really works. I can comment to my comment and be
right,
like, I want this specific line or
right.
whatever. And it's like my
Yeah,
brain just works better.
yeah,
Again, evolving craft. That's what we're all
yeah.
about, right? You
Right,
just to constantly evolve. So
right.
that being said, when I was doing that for the Project Realm Thief, I call it's probably going to be called the Realm Thief.
Hmm.
Um, that's such a badass name.
It's
But
great. I love it.
with my a little sassy demon. He's an a-hole. But he so I started
Is his name Folger?
no.
That's
You're
disappointing.
disgusting.
I'm not reading that book.
Actually, I
I'll
should
still review it. I'll give you a 5-star review. But I'm not
actually
reading it.
because their Earth is one of the realms, I should totally have a Folgers reference.
Dude, you should. You absolutely
I'm
100%
literally coming
should.
up to a scene where like they're sitting and I'm like,
Yeah.
I think it can work.
Dude, you totally should do it.
I'm gonna do
And
it,
also,
dude.
since you have a Earth realm, you should have a character named Micah in it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. No,
Yeah.
I will
He
totally
can,
do
he can
that.
be whatever. He can be like a supermodel, or he
Do
can
you
be
want to
like
be
a.
like some cool person, like from
Oh,
the Court of the Realms, or do you want to be
I mean,
like
you
some
should just
Earthling?
make me as cool as I actually am.
I
So
have a,
like
I have a, I have a small idea that
like
I'm gonna.
overlord of all the fine booties, or
I,
something like that. Whatever, whatever works. Like booty overlord. That's yeah, that yeah.
dude, bro, I, I feel like there's a scene in my head that's percolating that I feel
Nice.
like with your character because
Percolating just like Folgers coffee. Yeah.
no, dude, bro,
Yes.
it's gonna be
Yes.
great. No, it's
The
it's like super witty, sarcastic, like
awesome.
completely different narrative style than I've done with the
Sweet.
Verlaine
I
Saga, which
love it.
is so refreshing and fun.
Yeah. Yes, for
Yeah,
sure. Yeah,
it's
that's
got
awesome.
but so with the comments, it's been so cool because I literally got to a comment and I was like, okay, well, I want some of the world building here. And I
Yeah.
literally just started world building in the comments. And I was like, because I literally went down to the scientific level of,
Y-
because depending on which species of person you find, because there's different realms, right? So different
Yeah.
version types of people,
Yeah.
they're going to have different grasp of like even magic. And
Mhm.
so there's my demon is paired up with some dude that is like highly intellectual with the scientific level, and he's a
Nice.
god.
Yeah.
And he's just like he's gonna go and he's gonna be like, no, this you can't do it because of these rays and like because of these
Right, right.
particles that are being called on, like all the scientific jargon.
Awesome.
And he's just
Awesome.
Eliza, my demon's gonna be like, you're just a dick. Like
Yeah. Yeah.
he's just
Watch me do it anyways.
exactly like
Yeah,
that
yeah.
is him to a T. Like he's
That's
like, that's
awesome.
great.
Dude, that's so good. I'm so happy you're doing that. That's
Yeah, dude.
killer. So
I'm so excited.
how far are you on book 4, or did you pause on book 4 after you finished Cyrus and started working on the Realm Thief?
Well, I am kind of alternating right now
Okay.
because both storylines are really loud. And
Okay, good,
so,
good. Cool.
which is fantastic, but I'm
Yeah.
like, great, now it's going to take me twice as long to get through.
Right. Right.
the storyline because,
Exactly.
and I'm trying to be patient because I'm like, Project Realm Thief, I'm like, I don't want it to consume because I still have goals for book 4 to get out in the
Right.
spring.
Yeah, I saw that you had that spring goal. So yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
really do want to do a spring release. Like
Yeah.
that's always, I like the year marker
Yeah.
area, and so I'm trying. I know Sire's entire storyline. That's the best
Yeah.
part. And
Yeah.
thank God, because the last few books, she's one of my hardest characters to write because
Hmm.
she's got a massive storyline, but I
Yeah.
didn't want to introduce it to her quite yet because she had a lot of growing to go through.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so I like to make my characters work for their
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah. Good. Good.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
So now we're here though. We're in the moment. And
Right.
so book
Right.
4 really unleashes that. And I'm like,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah. And
So
book 4 is going to be the start of the second trilogy, right? I mean, that's kind of how it's going to look at. Yeah.
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 Yeah. And it's gonna be violent, brutal, and philosophically really sad for some people.
Yeah. That's the markings of a great book.
I can't wait to crush them.
Yeah. You got to do
I'm
it.
very excited. I get to have my first, my Dragon Rider project that I have,
Right.
that I will one day return to for development edits when I have,
Yeah.
48 hours in a day.
Right.
Those are waiting for me. But I
Yeah.
had a cool Dragon Rider fight in that one.
Cool.
The dragon clashes. I love it. But I'm super excited because book 4, I get to have in the main saga the first Dragon Rider fight.
Awesome.
And I am
Oh, very good.
pumped.
Okay, so let me ask you this. Again, since I've read your books multiple times, but some other people might not have. Are your dragons sentient? Like, can they
Communicate?
speak and think and communicate?
Mentally.
Okay,
They
gotcha.
bond to a rider. So they
Gotcha. Yep.
bond. They sense the rider's life force when they're still in their egg, and if they
Yeah.
go, that's my person, they'll
Okay,
hatch,
cool.
and then they have to touch, and they bond.
Yeah. Cool.
And then that's how they develop, but they have their own personalities and stuff like that.
Cool.
So yeah, but that's where their loyalty goes to, right? Like,
Okay. Yeah.
so they communicate. They no verbal, no smog speaking,
Yeah.
but
Yeah.
just mental.
Gotcha. Cool. That sounds like, man. It sounds like you're writing it sounds like a fantasy book. I don't know.
I mean, it's slightly fantasy. It's
I didn't
more
know that
historic.
was the genre that you wrote in, but that's cool. That's my favorite genre. So
It's contemporary romance.
yeah, gotcha. Cool. Well, good. Then I definitely won't read it. All right. Well, let's wrap it up because we're at an hour and a half, and I don't think I'm going to edit anything. If I do, it's not going to be much. So it'll be a good size episode. I hope everybody enjoys it. Let us know if you are interested in this. If you enjoy it, let us know. If not, we'll probably just continue our morning discussions and not record them, and then you won't have to hear us. So,
we wanted to get real and raw. That was our goal. We got on today. We just let it go.
Yeah. So I think that's what we're not going to have goals going forward. We're just going to talk. Two writers keeping it real. So
that's what we're here
for. If you like that, and if you're down with it, let us know. And if you don't like it, you can let us know, or you cannot. Whatever. Doesn't matter. Don't care.
Don't care.
Yeah. don't care. So anyways, thanks everybody for listening. I've been Micah. This has been Chelsea. We have been, I don't even know what we're going to call ourselves anymore. Doesn't matter. Don't care. So
just freaking unhinged, man.
Should we
real and authentic?
Exactly. Should we actually do an outro?
I don't even know what you'd say. Thanks for you already said it. Thanks for stopping by. You already got it.
I don't. Let's do it again so we can be professional though.
Okay.
All right. 3, 2, 1. And that wraps this episode up. Thank you all for. That's weird, man. I don't know if I like that at all.
I don't know what I did.
That's weird, dude. That's something Micah, Overlord of Booties, would do. I don't like that at all. It's weird,
drinking
man.
his Folgers. Hold on.
Yeah, drinking his Folgers. Boop, 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 boop. Yeah. Hey, serious outro time.
Okay, gosh, I'm serious. Why do you keep interrupting me?
Chill, man. Serious outro. Thank you, everyone, for joining us this evening. I have been Micah. What? I put on my serious voice.
I really tried, but I couldn't, and now I'm crying.
All right. Okay, one more time. Take 3. Serious outro. And thank you all for joining us so much. I have been Chelsea.
I've been Micah.
And together we have been Ickernink. Be on the page.
Of keeping it real.
Good night and have a pleasant tomorrow. Bye.
Tonight.
All right, stop recording.